G'day ladies and gentlemen, my name is Zach and welcome back to Printed. This week I have a cheeky little unboxing video similar to what we did last time with the Elegoo Satin 3 Ultra. But today I have purchased myself a little Bambulab X1C carbon with the AMS system. Now I'm very excited to get into this. I have not touched FDM printing for quite a long time. This video is going to be more like a first impressions, unboxing, getting a couple of test prints going. Because I really want to test out if this thing is 100% plug and play. Because I don't want to mess around with no settings or anything. I'm pretty useless when it comes to FDM. I'm a resin printing kind of guy. So I'm very keen to see how it goes. So we'll start by getting it all unboxed. I know it weighs about 20 kilo, I think it is. Let's dive straight into this bad boy. Alrighty, I've got everything unpacked and I am pretty impressed with what they have in this package. I'm going to assume that the AMS is already in here. If not, I'm sure it will be. But they include a tiny little motor for your Benchy. So when you build it, you can put a little motor on it. That's so cute. Oh, I love that. Now I'm just going to quickly open this because it's cute as hell. Maybe this is is it? What if it's motorized? I have not heard anyone talk about this. It's a little wind-up. Oh, you're kidding. It's a little wind-up motor. That is incredible. We're going to test that at Benchy and we'll see if it's buoyant once we print one of those. But as well in the kit, we do also get some support for PLA. Now, I have heard that this is not actually proper PLA. This is just stuff that you put in your AMS for supports exclusively. And then from the looks of it, we have, I assume PLA CF stands for PLA carbon fiber. And then we also have some PLA basic. So I've got a bit of green here and then a bit of black carbon fiber. We are 100% going to be using the green stuff today and we'll see how that goes. But I'm very keen to get into this bad boy and then see exactly what we've got on our hands. Bear with me, please. All right, I'm just having a little bit of a problem getting the AMS out, but I think that you got to use the little Allen keys that are provided in the box, the little brown box that I just pulled out, to unscrew this thing. Because they've packaged this really freaking well. And yeah, there's a lot of packaging, and they've definitely wrapped everything in plastic that is glass, which is nice. From the looks of it, the top part is not mounted directly in. Because I've seen a few unboxings, but no one's told or sort of gone through the actual process of unboxing it. Just there we go. So once you pull those couple of screws off, looks like the AMS just pulls straight out, which is nice and easy. And again, more plastic. We love it. Alrighty, so I assume that I'm going to have to pull all of this excess stuff out. Now, I'm pretty sure there actually might be a guide on how to pull all this out. Oh my gosh, there's things everywhere. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a video guide that I can actually look at to help me. But I'm stubborn, so we're gonna work this out together. Yeah, which, might actually be a good idea to try that quick start guide. Probably not a bad idea.
Believe it or not, if you do actually read the instructions, it does tell you exactly what to do. So that's my bad. I'm just gonna read through these instructions and then I will come back once I've got it all fully assembled, ready to go, and I'll let you know how I'm going.
Alright, this is me from the future, and I've had this printer for a couple of weeks at this point, and I just want to run you through a few of my thoughts, feelings, and things that I've kind of found out about it along the way. I wanted to do a little bit more of an in-depth comparison compared to the previous printer reviews that I've done. So first and foremost, I want to talk about the unboxing experience. Overall, very easy. The one thing I will say is I definitely should have read the instructions. It was for the most part, it was straightforward, but I think if I had read the instructions, it would have been a slightly better experience. And I do believe there are videos on how to unbox it and do everything properly, so that makes it a little bit easier. But I can't 100% confirm that because I haven't personally used them. But for the most part, it was a very straightforward experience, and I did enjoy doing it. 100% very well protected as well. the amount of plastic and padding and bolts and everything that they had in there really gave me good peace of mind that everything upon arriving was going to be working basically a-okay. Now, the only thing that I can say that is a little bit of a caveat is once I got everything set up and ready to go, there is a 6 to 9 minute print sort of calibration kind of thing, which for the most part isn't too bad. So the first thing I printed was this Benchy, super easy, printed up in I think roughly about 26-ish minutes. I think it would have been 19 minutes if the printer didn't have to do like all its calibrations and everything, but I think I would rather it have that extra 6 to 9, we'll say 6 to 10 minute window of calibrating, making sure that everything is okay, because it at least then gives you peace of mind to make sure that, you know, your print's going to be a-okay, everything's all good to go, and you can basically just set and forget it. Now, one of the things that I absolutely adore about this printer is the fact that we actually tried this on my partner Z's stream, but we had the printer like literally just printing, I think it was at this point my Blue Beetle armor that I'm currently messing around with, and we streamed it to her Twitch channel and it worked absolutely flawlessly. Like, I cannot fault it. It just worked to an absolute T and was really fun to see. And like the fact that I can open up my phone and have the live feed from the printer on my phone, and like if anything goes wrong, I get notifications, I can check in on it, and I can control a bunch of variables from my devices, both PC and phone, is super handy. And I mean, like, it really gives you that peace of mind to say like, oh hey, I just want to check in on my 14-hour print. And if you go like, oh no, like it's stringing really badly, or like there's a bunch of spaghetti, you can cancel it, or like you can just keep an eye on it to make sure that maybe things aren't as bad as you think. So I absolutely adore that feature. Now, going hand in hand with that, there is actually an auto time-lapse feature. This is probably the one thing that I was genuinely really excited for. Like, there's two ways of doing it, and they both have sort of their pros and cons. The first way is the auto time-lapse, which basically just, it's like anything. It takes a video or maybe a photo over like multiple seconds throughout your print, but it's not as smooth and satisfying as doing the smooth time lapse. The only caveat to that is you have to have a thing called a prime tower, which basically is just like this big block of FDM print that they throw at the back, and then I think it takes a photo after every layer so that your printer head doesn't move. You just basically see the model just get constructed in real time, or not in real time, but like layer by layer, very smoothly. I absolutely adore that. Only caveat is the fact that with that prime tower, it does use a little bit more filament, but you're also getting smoother videos. So it kind of just depends on what your major preference is for that kind of stuff. One thing I will admit to is I do enjoy the fact that I can just start prints from my phone. A good example of this was when I was talking about my modular movement trays and my hobby highlights a week or two ago. I actually finished a bunch of those, and then I went to work, and I was like, because I wake up at 6:30, I head to work just before that. It's only a couple minutes away. So I didn't have enough time to put a print on before I had gone for the morning. So when I was on morning tea, literally all I had to do was jump on my phone and then go and click start print. The caveat to this method is the fact that you can only print, from my knowledge, stuff that you've previously had on the machine, or stuff that I think is loaded on the machine on the SD card, because it does come with like a bunch of different 3D prints loaded on it already sliced, which is really cool to see. So it is cool that you can do that, but I think it is a little bit limited. Like, it would be really fun to be able to upload it from your phone, so like have it fully sliced, either online or maybe on like a phone app. I think the phone app would be a little bit hard. Online one, I think they could definitely do, but it would be very cool to see that. But for the most part, amazing feature. You can also, leading into that, you can send prints via Wi-Fi. Phone, not so much. Computer, definitely. I basically don't use the SD card on the printer whatsoever, besides just receiving files and then getting time lapses off of it. But for the most part, you literally just put the SD card in and it's all good to go. Like, you don't have to take it out ever. But having the ability to send it over Wi-Fi, like, I've gotten used to it on my Elegoo printers, and having it on my FDM machine is such a massive time saver. Like, I'm not having to run in between all of my printers and things, and I can actually just spend a little bit more time focusing on the things that I really need to do. So absolute A+ for that. Now, these are also, all my tips are also in a bit of a weird order, but I want to talk about the tree supports. I have not dealt with 3D printers, specifically FDM ones, for years and years. And last time I checked in, they had the really crappy, like the big tower supports that was super hard to take off, and it basically left a bunch of pock marks on your models. But lo and behold, tree supports, whoever has invented them for FDM, is an absolute godsend. Basically, I get a little bit of weirdness at the bottom of the prints, like you can see over here. For the most part, they are solid, amazing quality. They snap off super easily with literally minimal to no scarring. And I really appreciate that they're a thing because I can just load my print into the machine and then just throw auto supports on it, and it has literally printed, I would say, 80-90% of the time perfectly. There's been a couple of exceptions to that, which I'll talk about soon. But a question to you guys at home is, how do I lift the models off the build plate without having them snap back down? I know it sounds like a really dumb question, but I've searched forums, I've searched everything online, and I cannot figure out. So like a good example is I loaded up a model so it's like a blue beetle mask, and I loaded the model up, and all I wanted to do was just raise it off the plate a couple of millimeters so that when the tree supports are made, they bridge all the way around the model, and I don't actually have the model printing on the bed at its lowest point. Like, I don't really want that. I want to be able to raise it up, but every time I move it up in the slicer, it just automatically snaps down to the bottom, and I can't seem to find a setting to fix that. So if you guys at home know how to fix that or how to do things and hover them in the air, let me know, because I would love to hear, because I racked my brain and cannot figure anything out. Now, I quickly want to talk about a bunch of the features that the printer has and things that I absolutely love about it. First and foremost, the build plate is 296mm cubed, which is basically 30 centimeters cubed, which is more or less big enough for most helmets and things, but you will find that anything bigger than, say, like the ones that I've been showing, you will need a split. So a good example is your Stormtrooper helmets, you'll have to split. Your NCR, like Fallout mask, you will have to split. But for the most part, if you're printing like faceplates and backplates separately, you most likely won't have to separate those, which I really appreciate. And I've been genuinely blown away by the massive amount of things that I can fit in it. Next up, we have super fast prints. Coming from a background of not having an FDM printer for quite a few years, I was genuinely surprised by how fast everything printed up. And not only that, it prints in amazing quality. So like, for example, my full Blue Beetle mask, like the faceplate that I have been printing, I'm using the Blue Beetle cosplay as a bit of a good example, because it's larger prints, and like, I know I'll mostly be using this for my business and wargaming. To put it in perspective, the faceplate took 5 hours to print. I could not have printed that on my resin printers quicker than that. It would have taken my resin printers an easy 12 hours to print something at that height, or sorry, that size. Mind you, like, it is printing at 50 microns compared to 0.20 millimeters, which is an insane height to begin with. But like, that is insane speeds. And not only that, they have variable print speed, meaning that if I wanted my print to be a little bit slower, a little bit more quiet, I can select different profiles, or if I wanted it to be faster, I can select that. I like that they have a bit of a silent one, because I think it ramps the fan speed down, and then also the print speed, so that it prints like nice and smoothly and a lot slower. So it's a bit easier for people who have it indoors or near things like where they're sleeping. But it also comes with not only a normal setting, a fast setting, but a setting that is just solely called ludicrous. And I tried it, and it is freaking insane. Now, I didn't see a lot of results on it when I was printing my modular movement trays, because they're very dense. So I think I shaved about 10 minutes off of that. But when I was printing other stuff, it literally shaved like an hour off the print. And like, it prints at 166%. But the only caveat to that is when I put it on that speed, the thing that I have it on literally shakes all around the place. And it genuinely lives up to the name ludicrous, and I absolutely adore it. Not very practical for the things that I want to do, and probably I won't be using it in the future anymore. But I really wanted to test it out, and very happy with the results, all things considered. I will admit as well, the slicer that they have with it, the Bambu Studio, absolutely incredible. The model integrations, the STL finding, basically everything is super straightforward. They got tutorials for everything. There's a problem that you have with the software, for the most part, you can more or less find answers 99% of the time. And I really appreciate that, because like, resin, I would 100% say that Bambu Studio is much better than the majority of resin slicers. Just really easy to use, loads very quickly, just it works from the get-go. And I think a lot of other slicers can sort of take a bit of a note from that and hopefully integrate some of the features from them, and kind of just like the overall UI. It's very well set out, and I appreciate them putting a lot of effort into that. There's plenty of free models on there, so like, if you buy the printer, you don't have to worry about searching for anything. There is more or less an entire catalog of thousands and thousands of models. Not only just things that people have created, like you can download the models, it's also ready to print. The majority of these models come either pre-sliced or have like like colored variants and like the plates all set up for you. So it's absolutely insane to see them do that, and I really appreciate like the overall environment that Bambulab has created with this print and this entire ecosystem is incredible, and I appreciate every little thing that they have done. It's really just made my FDM experience so incredible, and like I've printed off 4 kilos worth of products, and I will not be stopping, but for the time being, I will have to buy some more filament because I did run out, unfortunately. Next up, I do want to talk about the filament runout detection, which absolute godsend of a feature. And there's a couple of things that I learned about it. First and foremost, if you just want to print something, it's super easy. You print it and you're like, oh, I'm not too sure if I'll have enough filament. Just hit print. If it runs out, the printer will pause immediately. It won't be like halfway through a step and then just like keep going and then like mess up and then, you know, you resume it and then it's all messed up. No, all it does is run out. It'll send a notification to my phone because I have Bambu Studio. It will send a notification to my computer because it's on there as well. All I have to do, like you don't even have to use the same filament. Assuming you're using the AMS, big caveat here, assuming you're using the AMS and you have one of the Bambulab rolls, you can actually switch any roll into that slot. So a good example is this was I was printing my first Blue Beetle mask, and I actually ran out of the green filament that the printer came with. And instead of just waiting and buying more green filament, all I did was take the carbon fiber slot, take that out, and then put it into the printer. And from what I understand and can tell, doing so like you can use the same filament, and I think that runs, it's more like your better option for it because it's gonna have the same settings and everything. But I'm pretty sure you can put a new one in there, which I have done. And the printer should change the settings to match it so that you're not having to worry about, you know, like tweaking everything, resuming everything, making sure that it lines up. Like it's very just set and forget. You just switch it over, hit go, and then fantastic. So I've successfully done that. I did try to do it on another one of my prints, but unfortunately, I think it was due to the supports failed on it because I hadn't added enough of them because of the angles, and that failed. But I don't think it was because I was switching over the filaments when it ran out. And that does leave me into the final portion of the sort of the features and everything. Is the AMS is super easy to use, and if you can afford it, I 100% recommend buying one. Like it is an extra, I do believe if you buy the bundle, it works out to be roughly about $300 extra. But if you buy it by itself, it's $500, which if you can hold out and buy it, not only if you're buying an X1C, but even just like the regular Bambulab printers, it is well worth the investment. Not only does it keep your prints completely dehumidified. I can't remember what the correct term for that. Maybe dry is a correct term. It actually has a wetness sensor in it, meaning that if your filament's a little bit too wet, it does come with decandescent. It does come with like the little silica gel packets to make sure that it's not too humid. And then if it is, or your packets are getting a little bit too saturated with water, it will have a little sensor in there that will tell you that it is happening. And you can actually just refill them with your own stuff, and then you're good to go. And I absolutely adore that, because previously with my old printers, I did actually have a lot of trouble filaments not being dry enough. I live in Australia, and I live in a state where basically everything is really humid. Where I live now in Brisbane is perfectly fine, but back when I was up in places like Townsville, basically your humidity was about 70% per day, which meant printing was an absolute nightmare. And I didn't know anything about drying prints or doing that sort of stuff. So for the most part, I had a lot of fails, and seeing them put this extra time and effort into the whole ecosystem as a whole, and think about these little things, really inspires confidence in me. And I appreciate everything that they've done. And just final notes on the AMS, amazing little thing. You know, 4 slots in there, automatically changes everything out. You're gonna have a bunch of different colors, and just so easy to use. And I cannot recommend it enough. Now, I just want to talk about a couple of things that I have found wrong with the printer, or kind of a few things that I want to just talk about quickly. Now, I've only had 2 fails on this printer, and both of them are actually down to my own ignorance when it comes to these things. The first one happened when I was printing a mask, and basically I adjusted my tree support settings to some stuff that I had found online, which I'm not gonna show them in the description because they don't work 100% of the time. They aren't very beginner friendly, so I won't recommend them. But I adjusted my tree support settings, and long story short, I didn't have enough support, and it started spaghettiing everywhere. But luckily enough, I did have it monitored on my phone, and I saw it there, paused the print, and it ended up just cancelling it as soon as I got home. The second print happened, I do believe, because I spent so long waiting for my I think I put like filament in it the next day, and it had been a little bit too long, and there wasn't enough supports on it. So when it went to resume, also the surface that my printer's on is not very stable. It ended up just like shaking a lot and knocking one of the prints over, and then just spaghettiing everywhere, which was unfortunate. But from what I can understand, both of these fails are 100% my fault and just me sort of learning along the way. For the most part, if you're printing simple models and you're not filling the build plate up to an absolute ludicrous amount like me, you should be perfectly fine. And you'll most likely find that 99% of your prints will go absolutely flawlessly. And I really appreciate that part. There is also a little thing that I want to talk about, and that's the AI detection. I have not had the AI detection work for me so far, but I can only assume that that's because I'm printing with a very dark filament in a very dark room. For the most part, I'm only printing with black filament because it's my personal choice. It's the one that I like. Very easy to sand, just I prefer the finish. And I think the fact that I have it in our garage and it's kind of dark, I think that AI detection either hasn't learned enough from my failed prints or is just having a bit of a hard time seeing it. Because usually what's meant to happen is when it fails, the printer will send you a notification saying, hey, it's failed, the AI has picked up on it. I do also have it set to medium, so it might just be a matter of I need to set it to high to avoid those sort of situations. Possibly maybe light a little bit better, but that's the only reason I can think of for the AI detection not working. So I might have a bit of an experiment around it and come back with my thoughts in a few weeks when I've hopefully done a little bit more printing and maybe some more Warhammer stuff. So I will definitely keep you guys updated on how that goes. Finally, I just want to have a little bit of a showcase of a few of the prints that I've done. I have been printing quite a few different things, mostly my modular movement trays, a bunch of Blue Beetle armor, which I will be doing a cosplay for. If you guys want to see a video on that, like I know I'm a Warhammer channel and not really a 3D printing channel, sort of more like miniatures hobby. Let me know, because I would love to showcase that or even make a series, maybe even save for my TikTok. Yeah, if you want to see that, make sure to let me know in the description down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on it. And I've mostly just been printing like a bunch of random stuff, like little buildings and things, little like functional prints. Honestly, not a lot wargaming wise, because I've been focusing on my suit for the most part, because I'm absolutely addicted to Blue Beetle comics. So I haven't had a massive chance to print a lot of wargaming stuff, but I definitely will in the few weeks coming up. Attempt to do a couple of different things so that I can show you exactly what this printer can do and maybe hopefully see what the quality is like on some very, very small models. But with that said and done, it is time for me to head off. I want to say thank you personally for watching all the way through the video. I genuinely appreciate you getting to this point. And just want to say, if you did indeed enjoy it, make sure to leave a like on it. It means the absolute world to me and help support the channel and spread this video to brand new fresh eyes and faces. And if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe, because not only do I do FDM printing videos, I also do a bunch of Warhammer stuff, and I do have a bunch of 3D printing videos that I am either currently working on or have done in the past. So if you like any of that sort of thing, make sure to join the community. I would love to see your friendly face in our absolute massive hall of hobby heroes. I just want to say, until next time everyone, thank you so much for watching and happy hobbying. Bye.